The Tournament of Swords is finally underway, but the vindictive Saturnine sees fit to stack the deck against the X-Men of Krakoa at every turn. Will they manage to turn the tide? Well, let's hop into the pages of Wolverine issue number 7 and find out together, shall we? Well, now, this issue hits the ground running and doesn't stop, which I truly appreciate. We check on in for the next round of the tournament. Magic has come to Roma, the realm of Merlin's daughter, an upside-down world ruled by the Fae, where she has herself a confrontation with Pog, the giant crocodile monster. Though as we soon discover, these two combatants end up crossing swords a little too prematurely, as Saturnine, she doesn't really want to see a sword fight, she would much rather see an arm wrestling competition. But wait, thinks Magic, and by extension the reader, what was the point of gathering 10 magic swords if you weren't even gonna let us use them, and also an arm wrestling contest, but look how big his arms are and he has 4 of them. The answer is, of course, none of this is meant to be fair. Saturnine is literally making up the rules as she goes along, and is actively favoring Eriko over Krakoa. In fact, we don't even know how many points it takes to win, we just know that the X-Men are down in points right now, and they're hoping their ringer Wolverine can turn things around for them. He's fighting the Summoner right now in a much more traditional battle to the death. The only problem is it's not really the Summoner Wolverine has to worry about, it's the arena they've chosen to fight in, the Blight Spoke. Which you'll recall if you read the little appendices a couple issues back, the Blight Spoke is basically a twisted, hellish dimension wherein realities go to die. This place is so toxic and so volatile it probably would have killed anyone else much sooner, but because of Wolverine's amazing healing factor, he's able to hang on in there even while reality literally shifts around him. Ultimately, Logan is only able to gain the killing blow not by slashing his opponent, but by actively throwing his Muramasa blade through the Summoner's eye, killing him. You know, we actually knew the Summoner longer than any of the other sword bearers of Eriko, so it's funny to see him die so quickly. Wolverine is happy, thinking that he's managed to bring a point back home to Krakoa. The only problem is that when Saturnine said this was a fight to the death, she meant the first person to die wins, so Eriko actually gets the point. Rightly so, Logan freaks the hell out, figuring what the hell is the point of even fighting this tournament if they're just going to be cheated out of every point, but they can't leave now because that would be forfeiting. Saturnine then once again decides to change the rules on the fly and says that the next round will actually be Wolverine versus Storm in a drinking contest, but wait, we're on the same team, we can't fight each other, can we? Ultimately, Wolverine's just kinda happy for a little respite here, and once again fills his gullet with that good otherworldly liquor. Though, once again, the Horsemen decide a little cheating is in order and decide to dose Wolverine's booze with something to slow down his healing factor. But, you know, it's not like he's going to need to heal during a drinking contest, right? Well, except for the little wrinkle that Solem decides to throw into this competition. He's supposed to fight War, who is desperate to collect Solem's head and avenge her dead husband, but what no one knows is that Solem had actually struck a deal with Wolverine back during their first meeting. Solomon decides to call in that debt now, which means him and Wolverine literally switch competitions and switch places. Meaning a drunk Wolverine who was literally moments away from seemingly scoring with an equally drunk Storm is now flung into a battle against War to see who can chop off another part of the person's body first. Before Solem leaves too, he's sure to remind War that Wolverine was the one that just killed her son, the Summoner. So for those keeping track, a deeply drunk Wolverine with a slowed down healing factor is now trapped in a death battle against the personification of War who wants revenge for the death of her son. Wolverine says he's fought his fair share of drunk boxing matches before, but never had a drunk sword fight with anything less than a couple shots of sake. War actually gets the upper hand on him very early on in the fight and probably would have been able to win too, except for the fact that her sword cannot chop through Wolverine's adamantium neck bones. And while War was so worried about sending a message and chopping off Wolverine's head, the contest only called for chopping off a piece of the opponent's body, and as such, Wolverine decides to cut off War's hand, ending the fight. Sadly though, Wolverine's victory is short-lived as Saturnine once again decides to flip the script on him. Oh, good job, Logan, you won. Too bad this was Solem's fight and Solem's substitution, so technically he wins the point, not you. And so that was Wolverine number 7, everybody, and if you're one of the people who's upset about how this story decided to change the rules of the big sword tournament right here near the end, don't worry, because Wolverine feels exactly like ya. Also, now that the good guys know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Saturnine is cheating and probably wouldn't even let them win even if they did win these competitions she set before them, that means they're gonna have to completely change their game plan now. You also have to wonder too if the Sword Bearers of Erico are ever gonna catch on to this too. Clearly some of them are much more honorable than others and wouldn't be cool with winning a victory for their world this way. Also, just because not every fight now is a sword fight to the death doesn't necessarily mean that any of the X-Men are safe, and some could still very easily sacrifice themselves if it means tipping the scale. I appreciate this issue for actually bringing a ton of madcap energy that really puts us, the reader, into the mindset of Wolverine in the story, and you gotta appreciate that. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.